We are out in the shop today. We're going to get started on an LS2 build. I had a customer bring me from out of town, and supposedly I think it had a rod noise in it, but we're going to pretty much go through this one. I'm going to redo the heads. It's more or less just kind of a refresh. It's going to get new cam bearings, new rings, bearings. I'll probably touch up the hone a little bit, new oil pump, lifters. If the cam's salvageable, I'm going to polish the cam, get it cleaned up. Like I said, we're going through the heads. Everything seems to be really clean on it. We're going to get this up on a stand, and I think we should be good to basically start tear down and inspection on it and see what we got. I'll get the hoist set up, get it up on the stand, and we'll start ripping it apart. So we got it on the stand, and I notice some self-inflicted valve release there. Those valves decided they wanted to fly cut the piston themselves. Got a couple there. From what I can tell, I don't know. I'm going to roll this back here in the light. Yeah. Looks like just that one. And they're not bad. You could actually, if you wanted to, probably clean those up a little bit. I think it looks worse than it really is, mainly because all the carbon that's inside of them. That one got it a little bit. Oh, there it is. Yep. See, and let's see. It's this one here. You can see that one wore out. We may get it apart. There may be more damage to it. It's actually, pretty clean considering. I was told that it only had like 10,000 miles on the build, and I don't know if that's just 10,000 miles from the cam swap or what, but it's got a Howard's cam in it. We're going to try and salvage that, but I guess I'll go ahead and start ripping some of this stuff apart. I probably ought to clean up my bench a little bit, move that K-Series over. That's that build we're doing for Win Racing for their all-motor EG Civic. So anyways, let's get this flipped over. I'll knock these pistons out, and I'll actually probably clean them up a little bit, number them, just so I can double check them, look at them whenever I get them apart, and we'll see what we got. Some people might not like this, but I'll loosen these up. Don't unthread them all the way. I'll try and leave them threaded in the rod a little bit, and then just give the rod bolt a little tap just to separate them, because sometimes they're kind of difficult, and if you want, you can push it back up and it'll loosen up that upper part. Makes that rod come apart a lot easier, and you don't have to fight the bearing and stuff holding on to the crank is bad. But yeah, you can tell it's never been apart. Obviously still got standard GM bearings in it and stuff. It's been beat on, that's for sure. But we're going to freshen it up and give it a new chance at life here. So loosen those up a little bit. You can see that. She definitely that number 6 bearing going out, it has sucked up quite a bit of junk there and spit it through the rest of the bearings. So nonetheless, it's definitely going to need an oil pump. I always recommend replacing them. I mean, if you take the motor apart, you might as well replace it. But you know, if you're doing something boosted or like a race application, high volume is always a good idea. That's what this one will get. You'll get a high volume pump. It'll actually get, I'm going to put probably coated cam bearings in it, just for good measure. From the factory, GM actually installs the cam bearings in the block, and then the block goes through basically like a line honing process with the bearings in it. So if you get one of these motors and you'll take it apart and you go to look at the cam bearings and it looks like the bearings are worn out because you can see the copper, and that's not always the case, because the way GM line hones their cam bearings to size, that's how they get the clearance they want. It's actually pretty neat. I've seen it firsthand, seen how they do that. But with the aftermarket bearings, you don't really have that benefit. And a lot of the aftermarket bearings, without getting a coated one, they have a lot of bearing clearance for the cam. So if you get a coated bearing, it tightens it up a little bit. So that's why I like to use the coated cam bearings. I think Clevite makes some, and that's normally who we use, or Engine Tech. Engine Tech offers a coated wide bearing for the 4th gen cam bearings. The 3rd and 4th gen use different cam bearings. 3rd gen ones actually have a narrow bearing, and then the 4th gen blocks use a wider bearing, but the actual cam bore itself is different size on 3rd gen and 4th gen stuff too. So like I said, you'll have a different bearing altogether there. It's not like you can just put a 4th gen wide cam bearing in a 3rd gen block. So hopefully we won't have to do anything more than, like I said, touch up the hone on this. It did wear the skirt coating off of them, but normally those don't last very long. You get a lot of them apart, something that's got fairly high mileage on it, they won't normally have any of the coating left on them. But we're trying to do this kind of cost effective for the owner. I don't blame him. Car made, I think he said like 440 horse to the tire, which is pretty good considering the cam's actually not super big. It's actually under 600 lift, like 580 or 570. So we're going to attempt to reuse that cam as long as it comes out and doesn't look like it has any scoring or anything on it. We'll polish it up and I'll reuse it. But nonetheless, this one is going to need a couple of rods, and then the crank's going to have to be turned for that spun bearing. And then I'll take the rods apart, clean them all piece by piece, measure the pin clearance here, and then double check the actual rod itself, make sure they're still true, and make sure we get the right bearing clearances we want. So anyway, we are get these old bearings off here that are stuck, and we can proceed to getting this balancer off, get the front cover off of it, timing set off of it, get the cam out of it, and then aside from that, I can take it to work and Yeah, man, those bearings are roached. Look at that thing. I mean, just that one, I'm surprised. I'm just, man, they're just beat. I'm gonna assume that a couple of the main bearings are probably pretty wore out too, just from all that metal cycling through the oil pump and oil system and stuff. All right, we got timing set all unbolted, cover off, all that, oil pump off. I'm gonna pull this timing set off and looks pretty good. But yeah, so we'll get these bolts out, pull the plate off, and get the cam out of it, get the crank out of it, and it'll be ready. These mains out and crank on it. Yeah, the main's got a bunch of junk in them too. So yeah, it was probably running out of oil for some time. The guy actually told me he took it to the drag strip and never checked the oil, and I guess whenever he got done and it started making all the noise, he decided he should probably check it, and I don't think it actually had like a quart or two of oil in it. So that just goes to show, check your oil and check it often. Yeah, every one of these mains has a bunch of junk in it. They actually have a fancy little tool for this, but I don't. So I just use a pry bar and pry in between these spots here on the crank, and you know, do it lightly. You can just pry on it enough to get it up out of there. It's definitely going to need some polishing, and like I said, you know, we'll have to get that turned. Hopefully that'll clean up at least 10 thou, because I'd really rather not go much more than that on a rod journal. So let's get the crank up out of it, and then all I got to do is pull this cam plate off, pull the cam out of it, and put the mains back on it. It's ready to take to the shop, start doing the machine work. So we got that LS2 all the way tore apart. You can see it back there. Now that it's all apart, I can load it up in the truck, and hopefully another, I don't know, a week or two, you'll see another video of me putting it back together with all the new parts and stuff, which I've still got to order once I find out pretty much everything it needs. But anyways, this has been kind of a short one. Just don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. Like I said, follow us on Instagram, Aquaria Racing, and we'll see you guys soon.